So we are doing that. What makes elections in India democratic? So we were discussing here and acceptance of election outcome. One final test of the free and fairness of election has in the outcome itself. If elections are not free and fair, the outcome always favors the powerful. In such situation, the ruling parties do not lose election. Usually the losing party does not accept the outcome of a rigged election. The outcome of India's election speaks for itself, and you can see, that India has fair and free election from the following points, from its election itself. The ruling parties routinely lose in elections in India, both in the national and state level. In fact, in every two out of the three elections held in the last 15 years, the ruling party lost. Even when we saw the example of Haryana, where we saw the Congress government was ruling, and then we saw Akali Dal won in 1991, then again in 1996 the Congress government was back in power. In the US, an incumbent or sitting elected representative really loses an election. In India, about half of the sitting MLAs and MPs lose the election. So we've already seen now. So we this is what we were talking about, that if you don't work, you'll be thrown out of the elected office in the next 5 years. Candidates who are known to have spent a lot of money on buying votes, and those with known criminal connections often lose elections. So who are some people who are usually heard that they bought votes and have criminal connections, they are usually, they usually lose the election. Barring very few disputed elections, the electoral outcomes are usually accepted at people's verdict. So there are few instances, and that's acceptable. That also tells that yes, elections, the whole electoral outcomes, and but mostly the whole electoral outcome is accepted as people's verdict, even by the defeated party. So challenges to fair and free elections. So now we've seen that what it means to have a democratic elections in our country, why we have a democratic election, the powers of election commission and everything. So what makes having we say it is such a simple process. You need this model code of conduct, not to do this, not to bribe, not to threaten, not to use any religious means, not to use any government facilities, falana and falana, not to make big announcement before the 2 weeks of the elections. But is it really this easy? Saying it right now it's so easy, but actually implementing it is a very different game altogether. So let's see why. All this leads to a simple conclusion. Elections in India are basically free and fair. The party that wins an election and forms a government does so because people have chosen it over its rival. This may not be true for every constituency. A few candidates may win purely on the basis of money, power, and unfair means. There, it's not true that everywhere on all the constituency there is free and fair election. Sometimes there is use of money, power, and unfair means. But the overall verdict of the general election still reflects a popular preference. But the overall result, it reflects the popular preference. There are very few exceptions to this rule in the last 50 years in our country. This is what makes the Indian election democratic. Yet the picture looks different if we ask deeper questions. Are people's preference based on real knowledge? Are we voting them, the representatives, on real questions that matter, or are we just voting them like that? Are voters getting a real choice? Are the voters actually getting a real choice? Are they really getting good flavors of ice cream, for example? Are they really getting good range of politicians to choose from? Is election really level playing field for everyone? Can ordinary citizens hope to win? Can you, me, can we hope that we can stand in an election and even win? Can we do that? So that's the bigger question. ये कहने की क्या ज़रूरत थी कि हमने अपने योग्य और जीतने के वाले रिश्तेदारों को ही टिकट दिया है. So press conference. So he is saying that why you didn't need to say that you gave the ticket to your to my somebody whom I know. रिश्तेदार is a रिश्तेदार means relatives politically. You shouldn't have said this in the press conference. Okay, the leader is coming out of a press conference. What was the need to say that we've distributed tickets only among suitable and winnable family relations? Do you think that family politics is confined only to a few states and parties? No, of course it is not. Family politics is deep, has deep roots, in our Indian politics. So here is another cartoon which says, titled Electoral Campaigns. This cartoon was drawn in the Latin American context. Does this apply to India and to other democratic to other democracies in the world? Question of this kind brings many limitations and challenges to the Indian elections, to our attention. These include, so that is why we have so many this thing, you can say one two three. So you can see this is a stack of notes, money. First, just look at the person who stood first in the election. Just look at his bundle of notes as compared to the second and third. So is this thing, is it the same process in all the democracies? This was a cartoon drawn in the Latin American context, for the Latin American context. So they are questioning that, is this same in other democracies of the world also? So here you are saying this cartoon is actually Mr. Lakshman's cartoon. But what does it say? Today he's making promises and everything. Tomorrow he's going. Okay, so he's a politician. Vote, vote, vote. Tomorrow. Okay. Okay, we'll see. Yeah, is this an accurate picture of what happens to the voters before and after elections? Must this always happen in a democracy? Can you think of example when this does not happen? Read the cartoon. So you can see that first, this thing, how before the elections, and everything, and after the elections, how it's done. So do you think this happens in other in your country, in your locality, in our country, and in other countries as well? So question that, candidates and parties with a lot of money may not be sure of their victory, but they do enjoy a big and unfair advantage over smaller parties and independents. Of course, who has money with if you have money, you have power. Money is seen as a means of power, so they might have advantage over big other enjoy a big and unfair advantage among other smaller parties and independent who are running without not being part of any party. In some parts of the country, candidates with criminal connection have been able to push others out of the election. So criminal connection, electoral race, and to secure a ticket from major parties. Some families tend to dominate political parties, So that is very true. You'll see some of the parties which have their family only being the topmost in the topmost hierarchy of that party. Tickets are distributed to relatives from those families only. Very often, elections offer little choice to ordinary, and we ultimately have very little choice to choose from both major parties, and are quite similar to each other both in policies and practice. Some smaller parties and independent candidates suffer a huge disadvantage compared to bigger parties. These change challenges exist not just in India but also in many other established democracies. These deeper issues are a matter of concern for those who believe in democracy. That is why citizens, social activists, and organizations have been demanding reforms in our electoral systems. Can you think of some reform? What can an ordinary citizens do to these challenges? So here are some of the facts on Indian democracy. Comment on each of these, whether they reflect the strength or weakness of our electoral system. So let's see that. The Lok Sabha has had less than 10% of women members. Has less than 10% of women members till 2000. It shows weakness. The Election Commission often refuses to accept the government's advice about when the elections should be held. It shows strength, independence of the Election Commission, and not being influenced by the government. The 14th Lok Sabha has more than 145 members whose assets are more than rupees 1 crore. Then, this thing, it can be weak and a strength in itself, that people are having, in one sense we can say that, people are having money and they are becoming wealthy and everything. But when it comes to being as a servant of the nation and everything, then that question comes that, are these are this money which the politicians have, is it white money or black money? Is it money that's they have, is it money from the corruption and everything? How are they becoming so rich and rich by every year, of their governance and everything? So that's the question. So yes, in terms of, if you don't see in the politics terms, then it's fair that everybody is becoming rich and they're having money to spend and healthy, being wealthy. But when it comes to have being in the service of nation and everything, then it questions the whole, that whether people who are not rich and who are from middle class family, whether they can stand a chance to win an election against these people. So after losing an election, chief minister said, I respect the people's verdict. So that's a strength. He's accepting that yes, people didn't vote him. Fine, I will step down, as now I will step down as a chief minister, and the next government can be formed. So let's look at the some of look at the glossary. Booth capturing supporters of hired muscle men or of a party, or physical control. They gain physical control of the polling booth and cast false votes by threatening everyone, and by preventing genuine voters from reaching their polling booth. So they take away the whole system of voting only, and they make false vote in favor of their party and the candidate. Code of conduct, a set of norms and guidelines to be followed by parties in contesting, norms and guidelines which the candidate has to follow. Constituency voters in a geographical area who elect a representatives to legislative bodies. So it's a geographical area. Incumbent is the current holder of a political office, usually the choice for the voters of an election in between the incumbent party and or candidate, and those who oppose them. Level playing field, candidates in which all parties and candidates contesting in an election have equal opportunity. In appeal, to appeal for candidates, for to appeal for votes and carry out election campaigns. Because some people who are all running in election, some are already in power, some are already chief ministers, some have already been the MLAs. So how do you make a level playing field with them and the people who are just new into politics? Rigging, fraud, and malpractices, indulged by a party or candidate to increase its vote, includes stuffing ballot box with a few persons by a few persons using the votes of others, recording multiple votes by the same person, and bribing, coercing polling officers to favor a candidate. Turnout, the percent of eligible voters who cast their votes in an election. So let's look at some of the exercises. Which of the following statement about the reasons for conducting elections are false? Elections are enable people to judge the performance of the government. People should people select the representative of their choice in an election. Elections enable people to evaluate the performance to value the performance of the judiciary. People can indicate which policies they prefer. So you can see, of course, the above are there, that performance, yes, their choice, representatives, yes. It's not about judiciary. This election is about all about representatives and choosing them, and not about judiciary. Which policies they prefer, yes. Which of these is not a good reason to say that Indian elections are democratic? India has the largest number of voters in the world. Indian election commission is very powerful in India. Election above the age has the right to vote in India. The losing party accept the electoral vote. electoral verdict. So, what is not a good reason to say that Indian elections are democratic? Of course, it's the largest number of voters. What if we have the largest number of people, voters in the world, but they don't come and vote? They do not make a choice, an informed choice. And what's the purpose of having so many voters? Match the following. Is it necessary to keep the voters list up to date? Yes, because some people may have moved away from an area where they last voted. Some constituencies are reserved for SC and ST, so that there's a fair representative all of all the sections of our society. The voices of all the people are heard. Everyone has only one held one and only vote, so that everyone has equal opportunity to elect their representative. One man, one vote, one value, and that's how it is. Party in power is not allowed to use government vehicles, because all candidates must have a fair chance of competing in an election. When you're already in a one step ahead in the elections, because you're already in power, so how to make it a fair chance for people who are not in power or who do not have influence? List all the different election related activities mentioned in the chapter and arrange them in a time sequence. So you can do this activity, from this usually announcement of election and everything, to nomination process, to finally and everything. Surekha is an officer in charge of ensuring free and fair elections in an assembly constituency in a state. Describe what should she focus on for each of the following stages of the election day. So you can obviously do election campaign, polling day, counting day. What are the what where boot capturing can take place, where model code of conduct cannot be followed, and so on. Where this thing rigging can take place and everything. So you can obviously do that. Okay, and then we have the table gives the proportion of different congress communities among the candidates who won election to the US Congress. Compare these to the proportion of these communities in the population of the US. Based on this, would you suggest a system of reservation in the Congress? If yes, why and for which communities, and why? House of Representative rights, population of US 70 percentage. So you can see that out for blacks it is the percentage for representatives, for blacks is way less as compared to for whites, and it's even less for Hispanics. So you can see, so you obviously we can increase, but they will be the people will be the best there. This is their stats will these are just the stats. Okay, so you can think that do we also need reservations, because some people are getting less of representations on that. So if you think that yes, they are getting less representatives, even when they have 13% of the population. And just imagine here, okay, they have 70% population is whites, but they're getting 86 percentage of the representation representatives. How is it fair? If it is supposed to be in proportion to the population, then this person should this then this percentage should decrease, and this percentage should increase. Okay, because just compare, okay, how many per population with, it should be directly proportional. This relation between population and proportion of representatives is directly proportional. In here you cannot see, here we can simply see the preference giving being given to the whites. Can we draw the following conclusion from the information given in the chapter? Give two facts to support your position for each of these. Election Commission in India does not have enough powers to conduct free and fair election. False, because we've already seen, how they can punish and everything. There's a high level of, punish them, and even tell them that there's not their Indian sorry Election Commission is as independent as the Indian judiciary, and they have equal power, just like that. And they have the guarantee of tenure also, that they cannot be just removed because of the government's personal reasons or president's personal reasons. So there's a high level of popular participation in the election in our country. Uh, High level of popular participation in the election. Yes, there is a popular part, popular participation in the election in the country. We've seen how many people are standing there, how many the this thing the turnout vote, or how many people who come to vote. And then we seen the um election related activities. Okay, how many people are participating in that? Do you get it? If there's some confusion now, please write it, comment down, or you can email me if you're not this thing. If you hesitate on commenting, you are very free to mail me. I'll reply. Election Commission of India does not have enough powers. Okay, we cannot see, because you can punish them. It's an independent. It is very easy for the party in power to win election. No, equal level playing field. Playing, and then we have model code, MCC, model code of conduct. Many reforms are needed to make our elections completely fair, and needed to make our reforms completely fair and free and fair. This is to applicable for everybody, na? Matlab in all the every time a new better system comes which can guarantee more free and fair election, that is acceptable. So reforms are always needed. Better reforms, better chances of having a proper election. So that's not a case to worry. Chinappa was convicted for torturing his wife for dowry. Sadbir was guilty for practicing untouchability. The court did not allow either of them to contest election. Does this decision go against the principle of democratic elections? It does not go, because we are there's this saying, okay, criminalization of politics. That means that many of the people who have been involved in criminal activity and everything, they are becoming part of politics because of muscle power, because of money power, and that's wrong, because their intent in the first place is not right. So even if you have your it also depends, the rules and guidelines. So there are that which if you have criminal activities, of course you have to, when you file your nomination, everything, you have to declare all the criminal activities, or the criminal charges that you still have in the police station and everything. So you have to declare. So also, I think it also depends that whether that what level of crime, or that is accepted or not. Especially untouchability, in our constitution, untouchability is considered as an offense. So that's not acceptable at all. And dowry, when we talk about dowry, it's such a big crime towards the society in general. So that's not acceptable. Here are some of the reports of electoral malpractices from different parts of the world. Is there anything that these countries can learn from India to improve their election? What would you suggest in each case? During an election in Nigeria, the officer in charge counting votes deliberately increased the votes of one candidate, and sorry, and declared him elected. The court later found out that more than 5 lakh votes, cast for one vote, found it in. Then of course we can go for repoll. Cancel out and go for repoll. Just before elections in Fiji, and pamphlet was distributed warning voters that a vote for former Prime Minister Mahinder Chaudhary led will lead to a bloodshot. This was a threat to voters. Mm. So of course they can have like for this, this is model code of conduct. Okay, how far can you go to demean, or to bring down the other candidates? So that's the model code of conduct, what you should do and what you should not do. In the US, each state has its own method of voting, in its procedure of counting, and its own authority for conducting election. Authorities in the state of Florida took many controversial elections. Authorities in the state of Florida took many controversial decisions that favored Mr. Bush in the presidential elections in 2002, but no one could change those decisions. So, of course, free and fair means free and fair election, just like that. And then model code of conduct can also be applied here, that what is acceptable or not. You cannot this thing inaugurate or lay foundation to any big policies before the election process and everything. Okay, here I can also write okay, it comes in model code of conduct only. Here are some reports of the malpractices, in the uh, sorry, wait, malpractices in Indian elections. Identify the problem in each case. What should have been done to correct the situation? Following an announcement of election, the minister promised to provide financial aid to reopen the closed sugar mill. Uh, so obviously, it is just no big announcement. No big announcement before the election. Opposition parties alleged that the statements and campaigns was not given due attention in the this thing level level playing field, given equal opportunity. An inquiry by the election commission showed that electoral rolls of a state contain names of itna voters. So if there is a fake list of voters, then you can obviously update the list. And if even the voting is done, then of course you can repoll. The hoodlums of the political party were moving with guns, physically preventing supporters of other political parties to meet the voters in attacking. Sorry. Then you know, Election Commission of India, they can give issue. They can actually issue this thing. They can issue like warning, or they can even punish. Punishment is a better option. But yeah, Ramesh was not in the class when the chapter was being taught. He came the next day and repeated what he had heard from his father. Can you tell Ramesh what is wrong with these statements? Women always vote the way men tell them. So what is the point of giving them the right to vote? No. It's an equal. You can obviously say in simple way, say that one man, one vote. Okay. And also one vote, one value. Then of course also we have like, women have brains of their own. They can decide what is wrong and right. They have that much level of intelligence, don't doubt ever. So they can make their own decisions. uh Also, party politics creates a tension in society. Elections should be decided by consensus and not at corruption. No, we talk about healthy competition. We have a competition for all the exams, and why not politics, especially when it is about making decisions, policies, and governing our country at such a large scale. Why not have competition for that? Of course it should be a healthy competition. Only graduates should be allowed to stand as candidates for elections. No, that cannot be done, because uh, Elections are all about representatives, all about representation, listening to people's concern, and not about what degree you have or anything. You need to have this skill of the game. If you are a batsman, you need to know the rules of cricket and not know how to this 2-1 RT-PCR test. Okay, if you are a gymnast, you need to have a flexible body. You need to know how to make your body move and everything, and not know how to cure in cancer. You have different people to cure in cancer, and you have different people to play sports. You have different people to make policies. There are these policy, people who have masters in policy science, and who have postgraduates, or who have there are teachers to teach, and not anybody cannot teach just like that. You need different qualification for that, right? So every game, every profession has a different skill that is required, and if you have that, welcome to that game, welcome to that this thing, career option. You're most welcome. Assembly elections are usually held every year in a few states of the country. You can collect information about the elections that take place during the session. While collecting news items, divide them into three mm parts. Of course, you can important that took place before the election, day of the election, and counting. Reasons offered by the poll for winning or losing. So you can do like post election, in election, important events before. So you can do this activity at home. Okay. So I hope everything is clear. We've discussed repoll, model code of conduct, free and fair election, level playing field, equal opportunity, no big announcement or laying foundation before the elections, 2 weeks, update the list, voters list, and if there is people who are dead or there's a fake name, cancel it out, update. We've seen the powers of election commission of India. We've seen how they can punish, how there's independence of the election commission, just like that of judiciary. And we then again saw the, why the guarantee of tenure is given to the election commissioner. We've seen one man, one vote, one vote, one value. We've seen a healthy competition, because why not? Every career option has in competition, so why not politics when it concerns about making policies for the country? We've talked about representation, we've talked about people's concern. We've Now we have a broader idea about elections in India, and what is m- mean what is it meant by saying that democratic elections, and do we have democratic elections? So I think your opinions might have been formed by now, by we've seen all the stats and everything. So yeah, thank you for seeing this chapter, and take care of yourself, stay healthy, god bless you all, and bye.